Welcome back to Grand Tactician Civil War, Union Campaign. We're in the summer of 1862 now. Began in the summer of 1861. I did the summer start, not the spring 1861 start. Last episode, we had a major victory here on the here at Nashville, Battle of Nashville. The Army of the Mississippi came from this direction, along this road, engaged the Second Corps of the Army of the Tennessee. Major victory ensued. We turn on the monuments, see exactly where that was. Oh, apparently it was right here in town. Well, as the case may be. Anyway, our corps was on the south side of the river. The Army of the Mississippi was on the south side of the river. The army consisting of primarily just Field's corps. Battle ensues, and the Confederates retreat across the river. I guess if the battle occurred here, they were able to get across this crossing. I guess that makes some sense. But we have this case where a battle occurs, a victory occurs, and the enemy retreats into enemy territory. And that's pretty, yeah, that's pretty irritating when that happens, because as soon as he reaches a spot and is no longer retreating, he'll be in enemy territory, and then we're going to have to chase him all over creation. Maybe he will. Well, I think he has to retreat toward a Confederate-owned infrastructure point. We'll see where Field's corps goes. Maybe he's compelled to come up this way, back around to someplace like Charlotte, which is actually considered Union. Apparently, that's odd. Maybe without forces nearby, this HQ unit, yeah, I guess it's not strong enough to exert local control, so these are all Union infrastructure points. All the way over to this ferry. That has to be having an effect on the supply situation at these three forts, one would think. Anyway, the local plan here is A, see where Fields goes. B, complete this supply depot. And then my idea is for the First Corps to head over this way and knock out these forts. That's the plan in Tennessee. Had moved the Missouri Army under Lyons down this way because Missouri State Guard had come close to Cairo, but the Missouri State Guard kept retreating. He's down here, yeah, probably here at Dyersburg, building the supply depot. So I think the Missouri Army is going to just throw up a couple forts here to kind of seal off Cairo here. Cairo, rather, I think it's pronounced. And that's kind of the near-term plan for Lyon. McClellan has reached Salem, and the idea was to build a fort here and try to exert some control over this railroad corridor leading from Virginia down toward Tennessee. He's in position to do that now. Right now he's kind of okay for supply, but it isn't 100%. He is consuming a little bit more than he's taking in. I'm going to go ahead and do a Supply depot as well. Patrick is almost done with his supply depot at Winchester and is working on this fort at Winchester. Good supply situation. It's a fairly new army. His men are untrained, so just kind of hanging out here for a while. Also get some training troops. It's not a bad thing. Come back to that in a minute. Smith is still here at Norfolk, having captured everything in the area except for this fort, and I cannot figure out a way to initiate a combat against this fort. He should be besieging the place right now. He's not. There's some kind of glitch going on here that I don't know how to correct. I suspect that if I moved a naval force here, they would bombard the place. But if I do that with either of these naval forces, they'll get wrecked. I think they will. Virginia blockade, though, has got 300, almost 300 guns. And it's pretty much all frigates and steam frigates. The question, though, is I know that out here in the Chesapeake Bay proper, I think this is considered sea. I don't know what this area is considered. They may not be able to go up in there. Screw it. I'm gonna do it. This may be a very bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. Before I unpause time. So I feel like I'm being awfully passive with the main army, the Potomac Army. 88,000 men facing about 90,000, so it's even with the Army of Northern Virginia. I'm just antsy because a lot of these enlistments are about to expire, and I don't want to get caught somewhere down here and all of a sudden, like 30 or 40% of the strength of this army just evaporates. So I'm kind of staying passive with them until that's rectified. If you go through and look, okay, here's Tyler's Corps, Sherman's division. These are 12-month volunteers, and they got a month left, which is a little kind of non-specific. I mean, it may be less than a month. Some of these guys might start, I don't think it ever shows 0 months, so there may just be like a week or two for these guys. 1 month left, 1 month left, 1 month left. Franklin, 1 month left. Wilcox, 1 month left. Almost this entire corps were 12-month volunteers, and their terms are one brigade is a long-term brigade that will stick around, and I think Crittenden probably too. He's got 17 months left. Second Corps, Hooker, is a little bit better. Nope. There's a 2-monther. 14, 14, 17. Yeah, most of his brigades. There's a 1 month left brigade. There's a 1 month left brigade. you get the picture. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with the manning of this army. Some of those guys will come back. I don't know if they just go right back into the manpower pool or if they stay in the brigades. I just have this feeling that I may be needing to retreat and kind of reorganize, reconstitute this army. And I think kind of being engaged in a series of battles down here near Richmond is not opportune for that process to occur. Anyway, that's what's going on there. Okay, let's see if this Virginia blockade can take out this fort. Seem to be moving awfully slow for 5x speed. Let me turn those monuments back off. They kind of clutter up the landscape. At least up in northern Virginia they do. Okay, we're engaged. Now, what does the game think about our chances? Ooh, it likes our chances. %. Crap, maybe I should have been using frigates instead of ironclads for our fort busting fleet. I might have been doing this all wrong. Let's go over here and see where Fields ran off to. Well, apparently Fields got fired because it's now Zollicoffer's corps. And kind of came over this way. Okay, well that kind of makes sense, I guess. We don't know where the HQ, nope, the HQ ran over this way by the forts. That makes sense. But, as he ran over this way, Fields or Zollicoffer's, whichever it is, apparently burned down the supply depot that was here. Which means the Second Corps has got yet another supply problem. Even though it's just the headquarters unit, I think you can still build a depot. Yes? Yeah. There you go. HQ can do that. It's progress. 19 days. Okay, the Confederates have implemented bounties, which is going to further impact their morale and increase their desertion rate. It brings in more recruits, but it hurts those other things. And pretty much everything is going pretty nicely in our favor. Confederate national morale down to 72. Confederate national support down to 69. I think that bounty policy that just got enacted affects that. The conscription affected that. So this is going nicely. Their army morale is still fairly high, although it's now slightly below ours. They are catching up with a lot of men fielded. Already talked about the Navy tonnage. I'm very curious as to where and in what types of ships. They've got 84,000 tons of warships. And in pretty much everything else, things are moving in our favor. Cumulative 7.7 million of our economy, 7.7 million drained away from Confederate raiding, but 20 million drained away from theirs by our blockade. The biggest single thing we can do to the Confederate national morale is to capture Richmond. If we capture Richmond, that's a 20-point hit, and that would drop them from 72 to 52. And we would be about 2/3 of the way toward winning this campaign. Okay. All right, Stringham. Take this fort out. Soon. Is there a time estimate? Doesn't say. Let's see how fast that happens. Army of the Northwest isn't doing much up here. It hasn't moved up. Slavery prohibited in the territories. Congress to regulate slavery. Okay, this is not the result of a policy. This is not the Emancipation Proclamation. I think this is just a historical flavor newspaper headline that always comes up. I don't know if that has any effect on gameplay. I don't think it does. The Army of the Northwest sitting here not doing much. Hasn't moved up to besiege Fort Washington and is suffering some attrition, which is fine. Have we gotten any of our troops yet for this mobile corps? A few. The mobile corps has its artillery and has 2 brigades now. Okay, this is looking semi-bugged because none of these ships are actually engaged. Well, no, Okay, some changes. Things are happening. The garrison's lost a few men as well. I would have thought that the fort would start taking some condition damage, though. That has not happened yet. Let's go see how the Missouri Army is doing. Yeah, let's have Lyon build a fort here. Just to block off this western crossing from Missouri across the river toward Cairo. It's a fine job for him. McClellan's working on his fort. He's almost done with his supply depot. And there's a lot of troops over here. Let's see how our recruiting departments are doing. Indiana department. Okay, so most of these units are now on station. And 2 days left for this final brigade. And then same thing for the Pennsylvania department. So we've got about a corps worth of reserves, east and west. I may need those when all those guys go home in McDowell's army. These casualty numbers are actually going down. Haven't lost any fort condition, haven't lost any combat power. And for that matter, our ships really aren't getting damaged either. Sabine and Potomac may already have been at 99% even before this combat commenced. The garrison is coming back up. They were below 400, now they're back up above 400. Okay, what I see is a lot of fort firing at ships and missing. I don't see ships firing back. Do I need to move him closer? I don't know if I can move him closer. Looks like I can. And they're closer. Dropping in readiness. So this victory slider bar shows 100 to nothing. And the ships aren't actually firing. Historical flavor. The Morrill Land Grant Act was passed in 1862. I don't know if this actually does anything. I guess there might be an economic effect to industrial production, maybe. I also see nothing but misses. Our ships aren't taking any damage either. It just goes back to, I think there's some kind of glitch going on with this fort. Garrison size continues to go up. It's above 500. I'm just going to let that resolve however it does. Okay, this supply depot is built. Second core is still not to 100%. Rally's good though. Somebody just, okay. Burnside was wounded last year. He is back. Available for duty. Still just a colonel. Might keep him that way. As this supply depot gets repopulated, and as this fairly newly captured one gets populated, hopefully the supply situation improves. Should go and upgrade both of these supply depots. Meanwhile, I don't see any reason for Rowley not to proceed on his fort busting plan over here. I don't want them to come down this way and do it across the river, though. I've tried that before in the in previous campaigns, and that didn't work out well. Let's move the HQ down to about here, just to keep it equidistant between the two corps. And let's move the first corps down across the river first. Ah, there goes the Army of the Northwest. Currently predicted to be a Union victory. Is our mobile corps really kind of up to snuff? Yellow readiness. I think he has all his troops. Let's just move them on down. I mean, it's what I recruited them for. Financial crisis. Confederate States credit rating deteriorated. Well, that's good news. Maybe they got down below a B credit rating. So I'm a little confused as to what happened to my various forts over here. There was a fort here, and a fort here. Fort Brookwood, Fort Hooker. Their garrisons are still shown in the order of battle. They're not visible on the map. I mean, the actual forts are. That's Fort Mackey. That's Fort Brookwood. And Fort Hooker is, I think, right there. Okay, Army of the Northwest has been pushed back. Let's see where he goes. Watch him pop across the bay over here like Jackson did last year. Pretty much the same here. Nothing happening except for Stringham's readiness being driven down into the red. This isn't right. There's something wrong with that fort. And there's something wrong with 3 forts having disappeared off the map over here. even though they're still shown in the order of battle. But they are not shown in this listing over here. I don't get it. Well, who the heck are these guys? Army of North Carolina. I mean, seriously, what the heck? They were up here somewhere. Meanwhile, the Army of the Northwest just rolls right past the Potomac Squadron with no apparent ill effect. Right past the James Squadron with no apparent ill effect. This makes no sense. Okay. So, basically nothing's happening here. I am just going to pull this Virginia blockade out, have them go back to their normal spot. They'll regain their readiness. They're not actually hurt. Do not know what to make of these disappeared forts over here. I don't know if they're just missing icons and are actually still there. Their garrisons still exist in the order of battle. I mean, all these artillery batteries are somewhere. I don't know what's going on there. move this mobile core down just enough to ensure that Fort Washington is within his combat radius to rebuild. I'm a little concerned that this fort command is just sitting here as a field corps with 6 artillery batteries in it. I'm starting to suspect that's what's going on for no good reason. I wonder what's going on up here in New England. Okay, so these, I called them district commands, but these forts are all still here. So it didn't happen with these guys. In any case, the episode has been going for a while. There wasn't much compelling action in this, really just kind of some questions about how the heck the game is working. I don't even know what I'm going to title it. In any case, thank you for watching, and we'll see what happens next time around.